The leather-clad bikers roared down Interstate 40, their motorcycles cutting through the Arizona desert heat like thunder on wheels. To most people who saw them that Saturday afternoon, they looked intimidating, tattooed arms, bandanas, chains gleaming in the sun. But Sarah Mitchell, pressed against the back window of a Honda Civic 3 cars ahead, saw something else entirely. She saw hope. Her small hands were bound with duct tape behind her back, hidden from view. Her mouth was free, but screaming would only make Marcus angrier. And she'd learned that lesson the hard way over the past 18 hours. The bruise on her cheek still throbbed. She was only 14 years old and she was running out of time. The bikers belonged to the Desert Kings Motorcycle Club, though they preferred to call themselves a riding association these days. There were 7 of them that afternoon, heading back from a charity ride in Flagstaff. Tommy "Wrench" Rodriguez led the pack, a 43-year-old former Marine with a prosthetic leg and a heart bigger than his massive frame. Behind him rode Carlos "Demon" Brick, Jackie, the only woman in the group, and 2 prospects, young guys still earning their patches. Sarah's captor, Marcus Webb, was her mother's boyfriend of 6 months, the man her mom had trusted, the man who'd seemed so charming at first, bringing flowers and fixing things around their mobile home in Tucson. But Sarah had seen the darkness underneath, the way his eyes followed her, the inappropriate comments he made when her mother wasn't listening, the locked door he'd installed on what used to be the guest room. Yesterday, when her mother left for her double shift at the hospital, Marcus had made his move. The chloroform-soaked rag, the zip ties, the terrifying drive north with promises that they were going to start a new life. Together in Colorado, Sarah had never felt so helpless, so scared, so utterly alone. But she wasn't alone anymore. Those bikers were her chance. She'd seen a documentary once about human trafficking, about a girl who'd been rescued because she held up a "Help Me" sign in a car window. Sarah didn't have paper or pen, but she had something else. Her hands, even bound, could still make shapes. She'd been practicing in her lap for the past hour, working her fingers despite the tape cutting into her wrists. As the motorcycle pack pulled closer, changing lanes to pass, Sarah shifted in her seat. Marcus's eyes were fixed on the road. His jaw clenched in that way that meant he was stressed about something. They were low on gas. He'd have to stop soon. This was her moment. Sarah pressed her bound, hands against the rear window, and started making the ASL sign for help repeatedly, her fingers forming the desperate gesture over and over. Then she mouthed the word silently, her eyes wide with terror and pleading, "Help me! Kidnapped!" Wrench saw her first. Something in his peripheral vision caught his attention. A kid in the back of a Civic, hands moving strangely against the glass. He glanced over and his blood ran cold. He'd seen that look before in Iraq in the eyes of children caught in war zones. Pure fear. And those weren't just nervous gestures. The girl's hands were taped together. He didn't hesitate, didn't second guess, didn't think twice. Wrench signaled to his crew with a series of hand gestures they all understood. Carlos pulled up beside him, and Wrench pointed at the Civic. Carlos saw it too, the terrified girl, the tape, the way the driver seemed agitated and aggressive. Jackie pulled up on the other side and gave a sharp nod. They'd all seen her. They all understood. The Desert Kings surrounded the Honda. Civic like a protective wall of chrome and leather. 3 bikes in front, 2 on each side, 1 behind. There was no way Marcus could change lanes. No way he could speed off or exit the highway without going through them first. Marcus's face went white, then red with rage. "What the hell?" he muttered, honking his horn. The bikers didn't move. They just maintained their formation, boxing him in, matching his speed exactly. In the back seat, Sarah felt tears streaming down her face. They'd seen her. They'd actually seen her. She wasn't invisible anymore. She wasn't alone. Wrench pulled out his phone while riding. One-handed, a skill that would make any safety instructor cringe, and dialed 911. "This is Tommy Rodriguez, heading east on I-40. Near mile marker 185. We've got a possible kidnapping in progress. Honda Civic. Arizona plates." He squinted at the license plate and read it off. "There's a young girl in the back seat with her hands bound. She was signaling for help. We've got the vehicle surrounded and we're not letting it out of our sight." The dispatcher's voice was calm but urgent. Sir, do not engage with the vehicle. Officers are being dispatched to your location now. Can you maintain visual contact? Ma'am, Wrench said, his voice hard as granite. We're not letting this car go anywhere. That little girl needs help, and she's getting it. We'll keep this guy boxed in until your officers arrive. For the next 12 minutes, which felt like 12 hours, the Desert Kings held their formation. Marcus tried everything. He honked. He shouted out the window. He swerved slightly, testing their resolve. He even slowed down to 40 miles per hour on the Interstate, hoping they'd give up and pass. They didn't think twice, didn't waver, didn't budge. Jackie pulled her bike up right next to Sarah's window and gave her a thumbs up, then pointed ahead with confidence. Cops are coming, she mouthed. You're safe now. Sarah nodded, sobbing with relief. She could see the flashing lights in the distance now. 3 Arizona highway patrol vehicles screaming up the interstate toward them. When Marcus saw the police, he tried one last desperate. Move! He swerved toward the shoulder as if to make a run for it through the desert. But Demon and Brick were already there, their bikes blocking the exit. There was nowhere to go. The police boxed in the Civic from behind, and within seconds, officers had Marcus on the ground in handcuffs. He was screaming about harassment, about motorcycle gangs, about his rights. But nobody was listening to Marcus Webb anymore. A female officer opened the back door where Sarah sat trembling. It's okay, sweetheart. You're safe now. What's your name? Sarah Mitchell, she whispered. He took me from Tucson, yesterday. My mom doesn't know where I am. Her name is Jennifer Mitchell, and she's probably so scared. We'll call her right now, the officer promised, carefully cutting the tape from Sarah's wrists. You are so brave. Those bikers saved your life, you know that? Sarah nodded, and as soon as her hands were free, she stumbled out of the car. The Desert Kings had parked their bikes and were standing in a semicircle, giving the police space to work but staying close enough to make sure Sarah was okay. She ran straight to Wrench and threw her arms around his waist, sobbing into his leather vest. He stood there, stunned for a moment, then gently patted her back. You're okay now, kid. You're okay. Thank you, she sobbed. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for not driving past. We'd never drive past, Jackie said softly, kneeling beside her. Not when someone needs help. That's not who we are. Within an hour, Sarah's mother arrived in a police escort, having driven 90 miles per hour from Tucson the moment she got the call. The reunion was the kind that makes hardened cops wipe their eyes and turn away. Jennifer Mitchell held her daughter like she'd never let go, thanking God and the Desert Kings and the police and anyone who would listen. Marcus Webb was charged with kidnapping, child endangerment, and attempted human trafficking. The investigation revealed he'd done this before in 3 other states, though those girls hadn't been as lucky as Sarah. The Desert Kings became local heroes, though they shrugged off the attention. We just did what anyone should do. Wrench told the reporters who showed up at their clubhouse. A kid needed help. You don't think twice about that. You just help. But the truth was, most people would have driven past. Most people wouldn't have noticed one scared girl in the back of a random car on a busy interstate. Most people wouldn't have risked the confrontation, wouldn't have called 911, wouldn't have boxed in that vehicle for 12 long minutes while waiting for police to arrive. The Desert Kings didn't just see Sarah, they saw her humanity. They saw someone worth fighting for, worth protecting, worth saving. And they didn't think twice.